Okay, TaMarah, let's just kind of talk about your latest hit. And I'm saying hit because I love the song
Hmm.
for my sisters. Just kind of tell us, how you came up with that song and, what's the meaning behind it.
For my sisters. And I can honestly say that the song was poured into me. It's one of those things that you don't even really understand until after you've written the song and seen the song. It's one of those things. But this song, it was created about a year ago, and it kind of shocked me when I heard it because I didn't even realize that the journey that I had been through this song, I didn't realize that it came out this way. And you'll better understand when you hear the song what I mean by that. But when I created that song, I thought about my teenage life and how I felt so misunderstood, and how being in high school, I had a lot of the principals and a lot of the teachers, and a lot of the older people, they would call me, that her little hot tail, hearing that all the time. And they did not understand a whole bunch about my life because I didn't feel like I had anybody that I can actually talk to and tell them some of the things that was going on with me. As a young girl, I was kidnapped at 5 years old. And from there, of course, they found me alive. And from there, being a young woman that was molested and touched and, fondled improperly, parts of me really despise men because of the picture that I saw of them as a young girl. My dad was never there. The men that were there, they were either physically abusive, mentally abusive, or just not good at all. So my vision of men was that. And because of that, my response to men was from that place. And when I got of age as a teenager and I started actually liking men, I went into the relationship with that mindset of being abused, not really knowing what it was like to really be loved by a man. So feeling like, you had to give them what it was that they asked for, because then they'll stay and they'll love you. And coming from where I was, sex wasn't a big issue for me. Some teenagers or molestation victims, they go more into the sex route. Well, it was different for me because it wasn't anything. It was just different for me. Everybody processes things different. It was really different for me, and I was more aggressive. But when I did find that person that I fell in love with, or he fell in love with me, it was give him what he asked for. And he said he'd never leave. And I just thought about all of these things that young people face. And through the song, those things came out. The second verse is more my life and my experience from my aggression. That was my protection, being aggressive. So I fought all the time. And in that, they called me bad. Told me that I would never be anything. Well, in the song it says, well, the cards that you were dealt with, they said you never make it. They said you never account to nothing. They said you wouldn't take it. But they didn't understand the warrior they were creating. They thought it was for your destruction. They didn't know it was for your making. So stand tall, my sister, foundation never shaken. But don't live in the past, because back there you never make it. Forgive, love, live, learn. In Christ there's no mistaking. The cards that you were dealt with, open your hand and watch him shape it. Well, that kind of that summed up everything for me. Because I was told that I wouldn't be anything. I was told that I wouldn't amount to anything. And the way that my life was going, it was kind of looking like they would be right. So that's pretty much the gist of the creation of that song and where it actually came from. And then I got here to Texas, and my brother, Ray X Bolin, dropped. He created the music to bring the sound out. and it's Absolute Productions.
Well, can you just give us a little of the song, if you don't mind? Give us a
Okay.
sample of, what we're to expect in the future.
Okay. Okay. All right. The season changed the mind of a warrior. Concept crew disgrace tried to bury her. Strong hand, but this it wasn't new to her. The look in his eyes was furious. Oh, it was from abuse that made the girl stand strong. She promised herself to never sing the same song. Nobody really knew the anger she was carrying, cause she smiled and bared the tears while packing big guns. With every sign of opposition you can get some, and every day there was a fight, there goes another one. She had aggression as protection while she stood firm, moving with no competition, you can't stop her. He heard her, abusive was his fix, huh? But mama couldn't let him go. Misunderstood, so they called her a bad chick. Not tell her how to play the card that she was dealt with. Yep. But the man, he never showed up. Caught up in the game, from the street to the car door. Come on, you're worth a lot more. That's it.
Wow. Okay, just something brief about, the song itself. I mean, when you first heard yourself, on a CD, what were you thinking? Like,
Well, whenever I create a song, when I'm listening to it totally different than anybody else would. I'm listening for what I should not have done. That's basically what I'm listening for. I'm listening for what I should not have done. Not what I did, but what I should not have done. So I'm really listening to it, critiquing. So my mindset going into the song, listening for that thing, what I got from it really shocked me. When I was driving, I was actually leaving the studio and I was on my way home. And I popped the CD in and I was listening to it. And the second verse, when it hit me, I could not stop crying. And it took me back to that age as a young girl. And it took me back to all of those different emotions that I experienced. And it took me back to hearing what people said about me. And, if it was just anybody, it would not have mattered as much. But it was sometimes people who I really had high esteem for in my young age that told me that I wouldn't be able to do whatever it was that I was trying to do, or telling me about the path of destruction that I was on my way into. And when I listened to that song, it began to free me. And I could not stop crying. And I was like, okay, God, I'm driving here. I can't stop. But he began to speak to me and speak to my heart and told me that the young people that hear this song and the women that hear this song, they will be freed like this song is freeing me. So that's why I always say music comes through me. It's nothing that I can even take full credit of creating. I take credit, but my credit is yielding to the creator that creates. That's the credit that I can take because I decided to yield to him. But I can't take credit for the creation. And he truly sent it through me, first to me, then out of me. And it wasn't until I heard it myself that I really felt it. And so, knowing that this song is going to bless many people, when this song hit number 2 on the Billboard charts, it was an experience. Let's just put it like that. The whole walk toward it was an experience. And that's why I say God has truly given me a life that I say is a journey, which is why I always say journey with me, because everything good and bad, I've always learned from it. So it's always been a journey, and I thank God for his journey.